Good evening, my little truth seekers. Oh, don't look so shocked. You showed up here for a reason. You came because somewhere deep inside, you've already felt it. That creeping little suspicion that the jokes you made weren't jokes at all. They were prophecies. He chuckles, low and broken. You see, at first, you were laughing. You tossed your words into the air like daggers, pretending they were harmless. You said things that made people squirm, made them nervous, and they laughed too. Oh, but not because it was funny. They laughed because they were hoping, praying, that you didn't mean it, that you were just playing around, that the things spilling out of your mouth would vanish with the sound of your laughter. But then, something happened, didn't it? He leans in, whispering. The universe tilted, the cards shuffled, and those so-called jokes started crawling out of the shadows, turning into reality, one by one. He snaps his fingers, and suddenly, the same people who mocked you, the same people who dismissed you, they can't even look you in the eye anymore. Why? Because deep down, they are terrified. Not of your fists, not of your anger, but of your accuracy. Do you understand the kind of power it is to speak chaos into existence, to spit words in jest, and then watch the world bend around them like puppets on strings? That's not comedy, my friend. That's prophecy disguised as entertainment. That's lightning wearing the mask of a candle. He grins, exposing teeth, his voice climbing in intensity. They call it coincidence. They call it paranoia. But I'll tell you what it really is. It's the kind of truth they can't handle. Because your words were sharper than their lies. You saw through the curtain while they were still applauding the act, and when the curtain dropped, guess who was standing there smiling? You. Do you realize what that makes you? You're not just a talker. You're not just a joker. You're a seer, a disturber, a chaos architect. Your laughter carried a map. Your sarcasm carried the future. And that is why they fear you. Because if your so-called jokes are already coming true, what else are you about to unleash? He pauses, tilts his head. Voice lowers into something almost intimate. They don't fear your smile. They don't fear your punchlines. They fear the thought that maybe you're not even trying yet. That maybe all of this was just your warm-up. That the day you stop joking is the day their world burns. He bursts into unsettling laughter, then snaps back into deadly seriousness. So what do you do now? Do you shrink back? Do you apologize for seeing too far ahead? Do you swallow your words so they can keep living in their fragile little fairy tale? No. You stand taller. You own it. Because destiny is not handed to cowards. It's carved by lunatics, brave enough to say what others choke on. You, my friend, are the storm they laughed at, until the lightning struck. You are the warning they ignored, until the walls began to crack. You are the prophecy they mocked, until it started breathing down their necks. He spreads his arms, like a preacher of madness. They want you silent, because every time you open your mouth, their reality trembles. They want you small, because every time you laugh, their delusions crumble. But you can't go back now. The jokes are over. The prophecy is unfolding, and the punchline is that you were right. You were right. And let me tell you something about people who are right too early. They're called crazy. They're called dangerous. They're called villains. But in the end, history bends toward them. The world reshapes around them. And the same people who spat in their face end up whispering their name in fear and respect. His voice sharpens into a knife. So let them tremble. Let them choke on their laughter, because the scariest thing in the world is not a man with power. It's a man whose words become power. And that's who you are now. You were joking, but the universe wasn't. And now the whole damn world gets to watch what happens when prophecy smiles back. He tilts his head, grins, and ends with a whisper. So go ahead, laugh, because the punchline belongs to you. But let's stretch this a little further, shall we? Let's linger on this nightmare of theirs, this reality of yours. Because when your so-called jokes began to echo back as truth, it did something much bigger than just scare them. It exposed them. It revealed their dependency on denial. You see, the average mind, it survives on illusions. They need the lies, the sugarcoating, the comfort of believing the world is predictable and safe. They build their fragile castles out of cardboard and tape, praying no storm ever tests them. But then you walked in, with nothing but a grin and a string of careless words. And what happened? The storm bent to your voice. The walls cracked with every harmless remark you made. They were laughing until the ground shifted. Now their fear isn't just about you. It's about the fact that their entire little house of safety is a fraud. And here's the delicious part. Once you've been proven right once, you infect them. Every new thing you say plants seeds in their brain. They hear you joke, and suddenly they wonder, what if it happens again? What if this one comes true too? Congratulations. You now live rent-free in their nightmares. Your laughter is their omen. That is power. Not the kind you buy, not the kind you swing around like a weapon. This is deeper. This is spiritual warfare. The kind of power prophets held when they stood in the desert screaming at kings. The kind of power madmen carried when the world thought they were nothing but fools. They laughed at them too, until they couldn't. And oh, the terror of being right too soon. Do you know what that feels like? To walk into a room, speak the truth, and watch people label you insane, only to crawl back later whispering, "You were right all along." That's not a burden. That's not a curse. That is a crown, and it belongs to you. You're not the clown anymore. You're the oracle in disguise. And the punchline, oh, the punchline, is that every eye is on you now. They don't admit it, but they listen closer. They replay your words in their heads. They can't dismiss you anymore, because even their disbelief betrayed them. So let them pretend they don't care. Let them mock louder, laugh harder, sneer deeper. That's not strength. It's desperation, because behind that hollow laughter is the panic of knowing this one might come true too. And the longer this game goes on, the more their fear grows, until the very sound of your voice becomes unbearable, until silence feels safer than acknowledging you. That's when you win. Not with applause, not with validation. You win the moment your presence makes them sweat. You win the moment your words are no longer words, but warnings. You win when they realize you don't even need to raise your hand to strike, because your tongue already carved their future. That's what terrifies them. That's why they can't sleep, because the thought keeps gnawing at their insides. What if you're not joking next time? What if you actually mean it? And if the universe obeys your laughter, imagine what it will do when you speak with intent. So don't you dare step back. Don't you dare silence yourself to make them comfortable. Comfort is the drug of cowards. You were not built for comfort. You were built for disruption. You were chosen to disturb the slumber of sheep, to rattle the cages of kings, to laugh in the middle of a collapsing world and call it art. You are the chaos they prayed would never come. You are the echo they cannot outrun. And the more they resist, the more obvious it becomes. You are joking, yes, but prophecy hides in jest. And prophecy, my dear, doesn't care who believes it. It just waits. And when it arrives, when it claws its way into their reality, it always arrives with a smile.